When you think of Pokemon, what's one of the first things that comes to your mind?
I love me some competitive Pokemon any day.
What? No, you frickin'
What's that? Don't you mean Power World?
Hold on.
The women.
Starter Pokemon! It's starter Pokemon, you guys. Or, I'm sorry, first partner Pokemon. Picking your starter Pokemon is like losing your virginity. It's a critical moment and not everyone is ready for it. I would know, I haven't done either yet. But it's still an iconic part of every Pokemon game, setting you up for your journey with a new lifelong partner that will definitely not be tossed in your PC later, while also helping to establish the type matchup system that's been present in each and every one of these games since the beginning. It works wonders to help the player feel like they can't make a wrong choice, knowing they all balance each other out and... Game Freak, my man, whatever game you're playing here, I want it, because it's probably more fun than this! Pokemon games consistently remind us that pain is eternal by seemingly punishing you for which starter you pick. From hidden abilities to entire fucking forms, these games really love to rub in how dumb and unknowledgeable we were as kids for picking the green potato over the Giga Chad Gator. So today, we're going over the many ways the series starter Pokemon has been made unequal, both big and small. This will certainly be an interesting type of video for my channel, but if you find yourself liking it, drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment, and all that other stuff, or else Incineroar will intimidate plus parting shot you every waking second of your life. Let's begin! So, we're gonna split these inequalities into two groups for the sake of streamlining the video: statistical and practical. Statistical inequalities are examples of these starter Pokemon being unequal going purely off numbers and data. Basically anything that doesn't require actual knowledge of how to play these games made for children. Practical inequalities are examples of these starter Pokemon being unequal when you actually play the game and see how everything plays out in practice. Like, these Game Freaks can spend all day fine-tuning these Pokemon to have an even base stat total all day long, but giving the funny Fire Cat Intimidate was a war crime that you can't quantify, but still leads to Wolf Glick shitting his pants on camera daily. So, let's start off with the statistical inequalities, and what better place to start than the most ridiculous inequality of them all? Why does Swampert have a base stat total that's 5 more than his Hoenn brethren? I know complaining about base stat totals is like the stupidest thing ever. After all, it's not about the actual numbers themselves, but how they're used in practical effect. However, I think it goes without saying, if you're gonna design 3 Pokemon meant to counter one another in a rock, paper, scissors formation, the actual numbers that you assign those Pokemon better damn well be equal. Like, was it so much to give Sceptile an extra 5 special attack? I mean, heck, that would mean that all 3 of the Hoenn starters would have an attacking stat of 110. It would be perfect! But no. This is the Hoenn region, and if you don't pick Swampert, you are objectively wrong and cringe, apparently. It's especially dumb when you realize that they deliberately ruined starters that at one point were balanced. You know, you've got pre-evolutions. Oh look, all evened up, all nice and good. You ruined it. But no, I think the king of this example goes to the Kanto starters, because back in the day, back in ye old black and white era nonsense, there was only one special stat. And let me tell you, it was glorious, because all 3 starter Pokemon had a base stat total of 425. It was perfect. Heck, they even all had a single stat that was exactly 100. Venusaur with 100 special, Charizard with 100 speed, and Blastoise with 100 defense. It was perfect. And then Generation 2 came along and fucked it up. Blastoise and Charizard got buffs, but Venusaur? Nah, Let's keep them both at 100. Oh, go ahead, say that you don't pity this thing one bit for the amount of times it used sleep powder on you. I don't care. We had a good thing going, and they ruined it. But you know what's especially funny? It's pretty common knowledge that they copy and pasted all of the stats from Charizard to Typhlosion.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
That's not all. All of the base stat totals were copy and pasted from the Gen 1 starters to the Gen 2, meaning Venusaur's 525 given straight to Meganium. And oh boy, Meganium. We're gonna have a lot to talk about with you, but even out of the gate, oh, they did you so dirty. So unbelievably dirty. And this continued on for a while too. Like poor Torterra. It was almost as if there was this stigma that the grass starters just had to be weaker by design. Thankfully, modern generations have rectified this, so we don't gotta worry about that. Never mind, cast it into the fire. Cinderace! Thank you. What? What? Speaking of which, let's talk about the unholy nightmare that is Cinderace's signature moves. That's right, moves. While I'll talk later about all the different effects and uses of Pokemon signature moves, I think it goes without saying, giving one signature move to Inteleon and Rillaboom was fine. 2 for Cinderace? This thing? He was fine with Pyro Ball. Why did you feel the need to give him Court Change? Court Change! But if 2 signature moves isn't enough for you, we got 2 Mega Evolutions!
Just a second. I'm in the middle of it.
It is well known by this point that Charizard getting 2 Mega Evolutions was just yet another instance of Game Freak playing clear favoritism, but my goodness, he did not need 2 Mega Evolutions, and they're version exclusives too, so that's just extra work you gotta put in. Why? But Charizard wasn't the only fire starter giving some Mega privileges. You've also got Mega Blaziken. We all remember using this guy in our playthrough of Oraz, right? You most likely remember using it in freaking X and Y from a special event, but nothing for Swampert or Sceptile. Why? This is arguably more favoritism than the double Charizards, because at least the other starters from Kanto got something as well. This is blatant. And while it's not a Mega, I have to mention Ash Greninja. Look, I get it. It's from the anime. It's cool. You could get it from a demo, so there was incentive to download it, but I don't care.
What the hell is this?
A lot of the rest of these that I could go over were nitpicks, like when some starter Pokemon in a region get dual typing, but others don't. We've all heard it a million times by now. It'd be cool if Blastoise became Water Steel type in the 2nd generation. Whatever, I'm past that, but I just have to wonder, why? Why is he mono water? Same goes for Sceptile. Heck, this was even sillier, because Combusken and Marshtomp both got a secondary stab move that helped them out pretty well. Grovyle? Fury Cutter? No! Ew! No! Put it in the trash. It in the trash. Right now. Just go. Get. Okay, now light it on fire. And need I mention Emboar with the fire fighting typing? Look, I love this guy, but did he really need to be part fighting? No. I mean, maybe. It was like kind of the only reason he was the best of the 3. We'll talk about that later. But nothing can compare to the tragedy that is this. See, Generation 3 did this weird thing where if you chose not to evolve a Pokemon up until like an absurdly high level, they get an exclusive move that their evolved form couldn't, like getting Shroomish with Spore. The starters all had this too. Now, there are TMs for Flamethrower and Giga Drain. There is not a TM for Hydro Pump, a move that Swampert wants to use competitively. So, sucks to suck, I guess.
What the dog doing?
Look, I'm not the biggest expert on RPGs, but I understand that a lot of work has to go into this sort of thing. Balancing all the stats and making a campaign around it, you know, that's expected. Add on to the fact that Pokemon is a multiplayer game as well, and suddenly it gets a lot more complicated. But all this, everything we just went over, this is stuff that I don't see how you could possibly mess up. I mean, come on guys, step up your game. Now, on the other hand, let's take a look at the practical inequalities. Again, these are the ones that you can't really plan out, they just sorta happen. I mean, maybe any developer with actual video game knowledge would be able to catch this from a mile away, but you know, this is Game Freak. We're freaks first, and we do games second. Well, I'm just a random guy on the internet. What do I know? I'll tell you what I know. That you can largely split the practical inequalities into two more categories. Before and after hidden abilities. This Generation 5 gimmick is quite infamous for how it basically reinvented lots of old Pokemon and gave current Gen 1 some, interesting treatments. But for starter Pokemon in particular, that was a big deal because it meant that the starters weren't stuck with this bullshit. But even before then, some of these starter Pokemon, well, let's get into it. Got a couple examples right here. For example, Charizard's Stealth Rock weakness. This one only applies to Generation 4 and beyond, and if you've been paying attention, we've largely been talking about Pokemon as they were introduced, with a couple of exceptions, but this really is a pretty big one, because Stealth Rock alone took Charizard from a niche but viable OU option to NU, the same tier as Skuntank. Literally. Enjoy eating 50% of your maximum health on a switch-in. It's pretty funny, honestly. But you know what isn't funny? Meganium. What the fuck happened here? First of all, anyone else find it funny that this thing survived the purge of the 97 gold demo? I mean, technically Bayleaf was new, but what the fuck is this? Who cares? But I like to think that Meganium surviving this purge was not supposed to happen. Arceus himself looked down upon this dinosaur-looking motherfucker and said, "Your ass should not exist. I'm going to punish you with a god-awful stat spread. Not just a low base stat total, but horrific stat distribution. 100 in both defense. Alright. What are you doing with that? Dual screens? Leech Seed? Yeah, great. Wonderful. May I ask, what else do you bring to the table? Nothing! Let's take a look at those attacking stats. Yes, low 80s on a Generation 2 grass type before you got your energy balls and your leaf storms and all that. So what's this thing hitting with? Giga Drain? Solar Beam? Depression? Now, low 80s doesn't sound that bad. A Pokemon like Blastoise makes it work, and even Feraligatr with a below 80 special attack stat. But you know what the difference is? They get high-powered stabs, like Surf and Hydro Pump. But grass types, back in this day and age? No siree, no such luck. And as for coverage, which by the way, after Razor Leaf, Body Slam is the next offensive move this thing gets. Look at this chart! No! And while I don't normally count the gym matchups, because that's something beyond the Pokemon's control, we all know it, it's true. They ruined this poor thing with some god-awful gym matchups. Flying, Bug, a Ghost Gym with all poison types, Ice, Dragon? No. Okay, just no. You might be bulky, you might have some ways to take advantage of it, but it doesn't matter. You are going to get obliterated by everything and not have a damn way to fight back. And what has Game Freak done to you over the generations? It's telling that when people saw Chikorita using Disarming Voice in one of the Legend ZA trailers, people lost their shit. That was one of the most substantial buffs they had given this thing in a long time. And that was before we knew what the rest of the evolution line was going to get. And the cherry on top? This thing got Swords Dance before Feraligatr.
I won't need my high school diploma anymore!
And even then, it was still a much better option. So unless Meganium is already one of your favorites, just use the other two. Better move pool, better post-generation additions, better stat distribution, better everything. Conversely, now we have Swampert. I already said, if you don't pick this thing, you're playing Emerald wrong, but I really do mean it. Sceptile might be fast, Blaziken might be a decent mixed attacker, but there is literally no reason to not pick Swampert. That type combination, perfect, unstoppable, unbeatable. Those stats, bulky, able to take hits, especially because most of them aren't going to be super effective. That attack stat, Sublime, especially when your stab is Earthquake. Also, did I mention, the dual types lets it work effectively in both rain and sand.
I'm gonna live forever!
And while its special attack isn't amazing, considering it can tank just about any hit you throw at it, it's gonna get multiple opportunities to Hydro Pump and Ice Beam its way to your death. Swampert is the GOAT. It is an OU Titan, and my god, it's telling that for so many generations, Game Freak kept on making water ground types, but Swampert stands above them all. As a fucking piece of shit. I hate you! Oh, you wanna talk hating something? I got something for you. The missed potential of the Sinnoh Starters type triangle. Now, if you'll look here, you'll see that some funny business is going on. Thanks to the dual typings, Torterra can hit both Infernape and Empoleon for super effective damage with Earthquake, and Infernape can hit both Torterra and Empoleon for super effective coverage with both its Fighting and Fire Stab. But Empoleon? No, we're not allowed to have nice things. Sure, it's cool that we finally got a Water Steel starter, and just Water Steel in general, but this was such a major missed opportunity! Imagine how cool it would be if all of the starters could just kill each other for super effective damage. Surely, this is the only time they've ever attempted and fucked up a reverse type triangle. What the fuck? And I know, Empoleon with Ice Beam, but all water types get Ice Beam for free. It's not special. Pretty fucking ballsy of Game Freak to entice us with such an amazing concept, where all the starters can go ham and kill each other, no rules, everything is chaos, and then completely blue ball us by half-assing it. Huh. Pretty on brand for Pokemon, actually. And that leads us to Gen 5, the introduction of hidden abilities, but weirdly, the Gen 5 starters didn't get their hidden abilities until ORAS, so it's fair game to talk about them here because they all suck. They all suck. Your NU, your RU, surprisingly. Superior is basically just a faster Meganium, which automatically makes it better. Samurott is just a well-rounded mixed attacker, which is definitely useful, but only really works if you've got a thick gimmick to carry it. And Emperor really only gets a pass because he's strong, bulky, and has dual typing, which really goes a long way in giving it more offenses and defenses. It was so useful that Wolf Glick even helped it get a top cut at Worlds once. And you know what? Good for him. This bacon household needs more representation. Otherwise, these are pretty well-balanced Pokemon. You know, that's one way to do it. Just make them all bad. So maybe by now Game Freaks learned their lesson. Maybe going forward, they won't possibly... Buckle up, everyone, because before we get to the part where I have to rant about Incineroar, we gotta touch on the signature moves of these starter Pokemon, and their transformation from, oh fuck off, to, oh fuck off! Starting in Generation 3, and then brought back for Generation 6 and beyond, starter Pokemon getting signature moves makes a ton of sense. These are exclusive Pokemon to you, after all. You may as well make them more special, except it seems as though the design philosophy for these signature moves was to just make them alternative options for these Pokemon. not mandatory inclusions. I say this because, looking back, these signature moves were ass starting out. You got Muddy Water on Swampert, Blaze Kick on Blaziken, and Leaf Blade on Sceptile. 3 very mediocre moves in their introduction.
Mediocre?
Because they were either lacking in power, had inconsistent secondary effects, could fucking miss, or a combination of any of them. Because, you know, nothing says I love this company like eating a live spider while also getting a chainsaw rammed up my ass! It's especially funny with Leaf Blade on Sceptile, because this is the rare exception where he had to use this fucking move. There was no Surf or Earthquake or Flamethrower to carry him. No. He needed this, because what was his alternative stab in Gen 3? I'm not gonna repeat myself. And as for the Kalos starters, once again, the grass types take the W because, let's be real, Spiky Shield? Pretty good. These? Nah, there's a reason why they needed to get buffed in later generations. This ain't cutting it. But always remember, Chestnut may have won the battle, but Greninja won the war. But as time went on, Game Freak finally got their shit together and started realizing that these moves should actually function. From Gen 7 and beyond, they got all the necessary fixins they needed right off the bat. Comparable base power, secondary effects that were useful and consistent, and didn't have dookie butt accuracy. You got your drum beatings and pyro balls and torch songs. These are great moves, one that these Pokemon love to use. With the exception being Snipe Shot, cause sure, let's make a signature move that's weaker than Surf and has a secondary effect that's only relevant in doubles! Game Freak, my man, all the drugs you have, in my mouth, now! Or you could just say fuck it and give him 2 signature moves. A bunch of these starter signature moves end up getting put to other Pokemon anyway. But no. Who needs court change? Nobody needs it. Only this fucking rabbit. That's all you're good for! A lot of these inequalities so far just came down to how the Pokemon were designed. Typing, movesets, stat distribution, etc. But in comes hidden abilities to remind us that this company doesn't hate us enough. Let's just go down the list quickly and take a look at how hidden abilities transformed the previous starters we looked at. Chlorophyll Venusaur. What the fuck? This thing took over OU. Holy bejesus. Pair this thing up with Mega Charizard, and you've got yourself a VGC team for the record books. Meganium with Leaf Guard. Yeah, Leaf Guard. Great. Help it continue to be bulky, I guess. I don't know. Resist some status moves. You still suck! I was ready to shit all over Damp Swampert, especially because Generation 5 nerfed Explosion, but no. Speed Boost Blaziken. No. What the fuck? Why the fuck? What the fuck?
Wanna see me run to that mountain and back? You wanna see me do it again?
Torterra with Shell Armor. I mean, bulky Pokemon hate crits, so... Sure. No. My poor turtle boy. But none of that matters. Well, except maybe the Speed Boost Blaziken. None of it fucking matters, because Contrary Superior exists. What are we doing? Someone thought to put this in the game, and they weren't fired for it. Surely, from here on out, Game Freak learned their lesson. You know, you send a starter Pokemon to Ubers. We're not doing that ever again, right? Ah! Protean Greninja. Oh my god. You gave the offensive sweeper Pokemon the ability to freely change its type at will. What did you think was going to happen? Comparatively, you gave Delphox Magician. Yeah, you're real cute. Also, please get in the bag. So much coverage, so much support. This thing dominated. Generation 7, we're not gonna make more starter Pokemon with busted pin abilities, right? We're done? We're done? Guys, why are you looking at me like that? It's right behind me, isn't it? That owl right there? Nah, nobody cares. It's a mixed attacker. Send it to the low tiers. I don't care. That water type? It's got fairy typing, you know? It's actually pretty bulky, pretty good. No, we're not talking singles. We're talking doubles. And in this wild west of a competitive shithole, we got a little something called Intimidate Incineroar. This stupid fucking cat rose to dominance to become one of the biggest pains in the asses of all time. You can set aside your chlorophyll sweepers, you can set aside changing your type with Protean, none of that matters, because here comes this stupid motherfucking cat as the ultimate Swiss Army knife of utility. You've heard the memes, you've seen its dominance. Wolf Glick hates this thing, and people will not let him forget about it. I mean, for God's sake, look at this learn set. Snarl, Will-O-Wisp, U-Turn, Taunt, Throat Chop, Knockoff, Fake Out, Flare Bits, Helping Hands, Party Shot! Why? I'm actually fucking... Shuffling intimidates, dealing consistent damage, providing safe switch-in for its partners, and they kept buffing it. Why? And the items. No! Safety goggles. Sure, why not? Fuck you, Amoongus. Assault vest. Oh yeah, we can afford to run it. We got U-turn for a reason, baby. Berries. Why the fuck not? We've got several to choose from. Fuck it. Rocky helmet. Hey Wolf, you want to just want some anger management? Come here, come here, come on, bring him in.
Hey, did you help me like that? Lady, what is wrong with you? Get a grip on yourselves, people. A bad kitty.
Several world championships, countless regional wins, an endless supply of memes, and to think, this thing is mid as fuck in Smash Brothers. So help me God, if I get the chance to play Smash with Wolf Glick, I will pick Incineroar and try and beat him down with it. And let's not forget Terrestrialization, because the only thing worse than Incineroar is Incineroar any type you want him. Anybody who goes onto a Wolf Glick video about the best Pokemon of a certain type and types in Terra blank Incineroar, you are automatically funny and original, and you should get a Nobel Peace Prize and a goddamn ass whooping! Let's just get through the rest of this before I lose my mind. Sniper and Talion. Great. No, great. No, great. No, it's fucking great! It's just a repeat of Magician Delphox. Who would pick this thing? Shut up. Especially when you have these freaks to choose from. Libro Cinderace, Grassy Surge, Rillaboom. One got banned from OU, oh I can't imagine why, and the other, another goddamn VGC superstar. Did we learn nothing?
Hey, don't be calling me cuckoo in the head. Just shush! I will handle this. Oh, I got it! Go.
It was so bad that I'm pretty sure Rillaboom is the entire reason they nerfed the base power of Grassy Glide mid-generation. Game Freak never does that. So, congratulations, guys. You did it. You did a good thing. Just gonna add this tally right here. And okay. Don't you love video games? And then Generation 9. Actually, we're pretty okay here. All three of their hidden abilities are actually pretty well balanced. Moxie pairs well with Aqua Step, Unaware gives Skeledirge a niche in Ubers, but it's just a niche, and they even lowered the power of Protean, so you know what? It's actually okay on Yaskarada. Hey, look at that! Good balanced starters. None of them overpower the other. Sure, they're not perfect. I already highlighted how they fucked up the reverse type triangle, but even with that in mind, this is easily the most balanced a selection of starters have been in years, especially when you take into consideration their hidden abilities. But that does bring me to one more thought I need to address. Yes, a lot of the starters I mentioned with their hidden abilities are unequal in other ways too, from their learn sets, to their typing, to their stat distribution. There's other factors that affect how Pokemon like Greninja, Incineroar, Rillaboom, and so on have become the monsters they are. But the hidden abilities are the real moneymakers, and I hope I got that point across as best I could. And looking back, I know there's going to be a bunch of other things in this video I wish that I brought up. For example, Blastoise being the worst Kanto starter in VGC. Don't at me, it's just a fact. I could have gone into more detail about Damp Swampert because... seriously, what the fuck? And even the ridiculousness that they changed Empoleon's hidden ability? They can do that? You can do that? And you didn't do it for motherfucking Meganium? Why am I talking like Toad? Ah! Starter Pokemon come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and really, I'm not out here to tell you which one you should use. If you have a favorite, use it. Hell, some of the ones that I trash talked in this video are my favorites of each generation. Oh, that's actually really funny. So don't let my dumb bullshit stop you from using the Pokemon you want to use. Unless it did. In which case, you're welcome? And finally, a quick shout out to some of the channels that you're seeing on screen. They've inspired me to continue my love for Pokemon and give this whole video essay thing a shot. I'm not sure how well this will have turned out in the end, but I definitely gave it my all, so if you want to see more, let me know. There's certainly other inequalities out there I could talk about. Maybe certain other Pokemon-related topics I could discuss. At this point, the sky's the limit. I feel like I'm forgetting something, though. Something... Oh, right! Legends Arceus! Yeah, the Hisuian forms. Yeah, okay, let's quickly take a look at those. So we got Scrappy on Hisuian Decidueye, which actually pairs pretty well with triple arrows. You know what? Okay, that's pretty good. Sharpness on Ceaseless Edge. Okay, that's actually ridiculously powerful, but you know what? Not over the top. Maybe. And then, Typhlosion. Okay, Typhlosion. Love the memes. Love the memes. Okay, let's see. So he's got Infernal Parade, and his hidden ability is... Frisk. Frisk. See, you guys started dogging on this motherfucker after the allegations came out. I was always suspicious of this motherfucker!